traditions, cultures, or even we may say disciplic succession, they may have a little different way of how to do the different ceremonies. And for example, it is mentioned, and mostly here in Braj, they will put Anantashesh under the southeast corner of the building. Whereas other places they will put northeast. And in South India they will see according to the time of the year they will put Anantashesh under the building in a specific direction. So with the idea that Anantashesh will hold the building and protect the building. And and then afterwards, of course, the yaga is performed. And then once the building is ready, then one will do Griha Pravesh, entering the house. There is a ceremony. Again, one worships Guru Garanga Krishna. And traditionally, there is also a personality known as Vastu Purush, who is residing in the house and who has to be worshipped. After that, that is in regards to marriage ceremony. Mostly we do simple marriage ceremony amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas because after all we want to serve Krishna and we understand main activities to chant the holy names and to hear about Krishna, serve Krishna. But in traditional families, they will do more elaborate, and then after the marriage, then when they enter the house, and usually the girl will come to the bride will come to the groom's house, and then there's a little ceremony performed, a little yagya. And then again, after the marriage, on the fourth day, that is known as Chaturthi Homa, as the ceremony is performed. Then the next mention here, that is in regards to the students who are going to school, and yesterday we discussed, first is Vidyaram Samskaras, starting of the studies. And then when the children are leaving the school, or the young boys and girls, then there's also ceremony. Samavartan Samskar, or also, of course, in English, maybe known as graduation ceremony, farewell ceremony. They're leaving the school, bye-bye. So we want to be teachers, and so even in many schools they do that also. Or in colleges, especially in India, they always have a ceremony. But by tradition in the Gurukul, always when the student is finished with his studies, then when he's going home especially, then the ceremony is performed. And also there's a ceremony known as Putra, Murdani, and Granam. And that is when the father has gone somewhere, then he's coming back, and then he's bestowing blessings, especially upon the children and the son, Putra. And he's doing that by smelling the head of, very affectionately of the son. After we have mentioned the Diksha ceremony. So in Diksha, as we know in ISKCON, we have first initiation Diksha and then second initiation Diksha. Traditionally, there's only one Diksha initiation. Even amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, traditionally first Harinam is given. So then I will just mention acceptance of Harinam from the Spirit Master and the Spirit Maid. But then the initiation, the Diksha, is when the second initiation is there, as we say, second, when the Brahma, the Gayatris are received. That is usually traditionally known as Diksha. And as we know the word, but Prabhupada, of course, whatever he was doing was perfect and complete. But just according to temporary circumstances, so sometimes the acharyas, they are adjusting. And but if one is taking shelter of the Spirit Master, and the Spirit Master is accepting from both sides from the Spirit Master and the disciple, is acceptance there, That is actually the main thing. And even Prabhupada has mentioned the initiation, that is a formality, the initiation ceremony. The main thing is acceptance from the Guru side and the disciple side, from the heart. But then just to make it more substantial or impression, so that the devotees, disciples will take it seriously, then the ceremony is performed. That we discussed yesterday also. Then sometimes there is a ceremony performed just for auspiciousness, Mangal Homa. Sometimes even in the temples, let's say for Janmashtami, the management is deciding to do a ceremony for auspiciousness, Mangal Homa. And maybe on Janmashtami, and then they may do a yajna and chant the names of Krishna, 100 names of Krishna, 108 names of Krishna, 1,000 names of Krishna. Or they may do the Brahma Samhita shlokas may be chanted. Even at home sometimes, some devotees, they do some ceremony for auspiciousness. And then the next explained is Nitya Homa, daily fire sacrifice. In Mayapur, for example, not right now, but some years ago they were doing daily sacrifice. The Gurukul students, the other boys who were initiated, they were doing daily sacrifice, and the young ones are assisting. And it's still there in many traditional temples in South India. And previously, even householders from the Brahmana community, they used to do daily sacrifice, at least in the morning, sometimes even morning and evening. And even now, in Mayapur, actually, then next to the temple, at the entrance of the TOVP, on the side, on the right side, they will have a Yagyashala. And they're planning to again have Nitya Homa, daily sacrifice. Yes.
Our temple we have every week, every Saturday.
In your temple, in Germany,
yeah.
Right? In for the Shingadev.
Yeah.
Yes, I was there also many years ago. I stayed there 2 times. Yeah, I was doing that also, Yaga. Saturday, every Saturday. Yes.
This is also counted as Nitya Homa?
Well, you may, because Nitya means, well, Nitya Nitya means eternally, always. Nitya can mean also on a daily basis. Nitya may also mean very regularly. So it may be Nitya Homa once a week you can do. That may be considered Nitya Homa. If you can do every day, then once a week, that you may also say Nitya Homa. Nitya Homa. If you just do it sometimes, you may say Mangal Homa for auspiciousness. Yeah, actually, in Germany, there on the farm, when Madan Mohan were there, for some time actually they were doing a daily sacrifice in front of the Shilas. There's a small room there, they still do the puja there for the Shilas, or they are not there anymore? No, they are now in Golok Dham.
Yeah, they still do the Golok Dham.
In Golok Dham, they still do every day a yagya? It's possible, yeah, because my time when I was there, a long time ago, 35 years ago. So I was there in Singhachalan for some time, worshipping Madan Mohan and Shingadev also. And so I was also one time doing the Shalingram Puja, and then so they were doing at that time daily small yagya. So that is very auspicious. That is, yes, as mentioned, so in many places they still do in India. Next is Vigraha Pratishta, installing the deities. For the big temple, it is very elaborate ceremony. It may vary, it may be from, well, in a simple way, if you do a little simple, it may take 2 days, but it can take from 2 days to 5 days, or even sometimes they may do longer also, like 10 days, especially in South India. And but for home worship, you can do it in a simple way also. It can be done in a simple way, and just in one day affair also. And then after, well, we mentioned also sannyas, acceptance of the renounced order of life. So that is mentioned in Gopal Bhatta Goswami's book. Actually, there's an addition. Basically, the Samskaras are explained in Sakriya Saradipika by Gopal Bhatta Goswami. But then there's an addition, and that is the Samskar Dipika. That is the ceremony for those who want to enter the sannyas ashram. So therefore, we have also mentioned that and written a few words. So, if you see that in the Vedic literatures, so this is the minimum 16 samskars, and even for us Vaishnavas at least 10 should be done. But there's even, according to Vedic literatures, there are many more. There's a list of 64 also samskars, a list of 128 samskars. So, but we're okay with 16 or 10. So we have to have a balance. So not to do any samskar that is actually, well, those with intelligence, they will do samskars. So, but sometimes they're just thinking, we just chant the holy names, no need to do any of these things. But it has a definitely great value, and it makes some positive impressions, and usually these are required. And therefore, it was even done for Mahaprabhu or for Krishna. And in any traditional family, they will perform the different samskars. But yes, so we have to be balanced, and no need to do all small samskars which are mentioned there. But the main samskars should be performed. So now, further we have here explained on the same page that the ceremonies are usually divided into 3 parts. First is known as Kushandika, second is the actual samskar, and third is Uditya Karya. So Kushandika means the preparation for the ceremony. So, as explained before also yesterday, especially the priest, so he should be devotee, good standing, he should have knowledge of the scriptures. He should be also pujari actually, he should know how to do puja. Because when you do yajna, you have to do puja also. It may be simple or elaborate, but if you're used to do it, then it becomes easy. If not, then one is not able to actually perform it so nicely. So therefore, because actually practice makes perfect. If you do every day, then it becomes easy. If you do once a while, then it is not so easy. And just like when you want to worship the deities, one has to do some activities for purification. Like for example, one is doing Achman, and then chanting some mantras for purification. That has to be done also, again, when you do a yajna. And I don't know if you're familiar with deity worship, but the different names for deity worship, one of them is known as Pancha Anga Puja. So anyone knows what means Pancha Anga Puja? Anyone heard of you of Pancha Anga Puja? Nobody heard? You Pujari? You heard? Pancha Anga Puja? Anyone else heard? Okay. So you can say Panchanga, 5 limbs are there. No? Nobody knows. Abhigaman, Upadan, Yoga, Ijja and Svadhyay. So we have to prepare in order to go on the altar. Not just you just get up and you go jump on the altar. No. But what you have to do first thing, you have to take bath. And then, actually the first thing in the morning you have to offer obeisances to Guru, Gauranga and Krishna. And those who are, so everyone understands English, or anyone needs translation? Translator is here. Everyone is fine? Okay, fine, good. So, first thing we have to remember, Guru Gauranga and Krishna in the morning. Those who are from Brahmana families, they will chant many mantras. They will offer respect to Prithvi Devi, to Mother Earth also, and other personalities also. But we can keep it simple and remember Guru Gauranga and Krishna. There's one beautiful mantra known amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and that very simple mantra, Anustup. So just like Bhagavad Gita shloka, and Guru Gauranga and Radha Krishna are included in that. So that is very helpful mantra actually. So you can fold your hands and repeat after me. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. So that mantra is actually so very wonderful, and so the meaning is I have obeisances to my spiritual master. Of course you can remember the previous acharyas also. I have my obeisances to Mahaprabhu and to Srimati Radharani, her abode Vrindavan Dham, and her friends, the other gopis. Obeisances to Krishna, Krishna's devotees, and all the general devotees. And so,
What's the beginning of this mantra?
Gurave Gaura Chandraya. And it's very easy to learn also.
From where it is?
That is one wonderful Vaishnav has compiled that, but who that wonderful Vaishnav is, nobody knows. There's one book by Rupa Goswami known as Padyavali. He has mentioned maybe 250 verses. And he has written this verse is from that saintly person, this verse from this saintly person. But then from these 250 verses, almost half he has written, author is unknown. But he saw the verse, he had heard from somebody, and he examined the verse, and he found that this verse is beautiful, so he included it in his book. So this verse is bona fide, but who has compiled the verse, we don't know. Just like, for example, even Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dino Bandhu Jagatpate, we know. But who has compiled the verse? Anyone knows? We don't know. Yes. Yes, you can chant, and you can record it also fine, very intelligent, Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Offering obeisances to Guru, Gauranga, Srimati Radharani, her abode and associates, Krishna, Krishna's devotees, and all the devotees. So then after offering obeisances, then you have to take a bath. And in India, the Brahmanas, they will always chant one mantra. Om Pavitra Pavitra Va Sarvavastam Karo Piva Yasmarit Pundarik Kaksham Sabhaya Vyantara Suchi. Yes. Gurave Om Pavitra. Om Pavitra, that verse is asking where we can find, how we can get this verse. It is there in the Deity Worship book, and should be actually in this book also. It's there also, should be in that book also. But very famous verse, that you can see even Google Guru knows that verse also. Page number 12, it is there. And even Guru Chandrayana, it is in there somewhere.
That is outside Yagashala.
Outside the Yagashala, it is there, You can copy from there. Good, attentive. So, because the main point is you have to try to always remember Krishna. So that is right from waking up. And then after that, so you take bath, you put on fresh clothes, then you go to the temple, and then you have to connect with the Lord. and then you have to chant some mantras for purification, so that you can do the seva to the Lord. Similarly, for doing yajna, you're going to worship the Lord, and then you are invoking Agni Deva and worshipping, so you must be transcendently situated. So yoga is there to connect with Krishna, to come on the transcendental platform. For this you do achman for purification. So there's a southern achman, there's a simple achman, that should be also in the book, on page number 10, not 10, let me see. On page number 11. Southern achman, that is a simple, southern means simple, ordinary, and then there's Vishesh achman, special achman, elaborate. So the pujaris in the big temples, usually they chant the Vishesh achman. And the priests also, they should know the special achman. But others, they may just do simple achman. And then after you can approach the deities, you can worship and the deities, and then you can do yajna also. And then after, so Ija is mentioned, that is the actual worship of the Lord. And then Swadhyay, Adhyayan, study of the scriptures, self-study. So we must have a good sadhana. Then we can nicely worship the deities, you can nicely do a yajna. And so further on in Kushandi kind of preparation, so then, for example, now here we have the Yagya already ready, but other places like tomorrow we do demonstration, you will see how to make a Yagya kund. So because now in the temple, because many devotees are there, every time we do a Yagya in the temple, and then we have to make the yajna kund with the breaks, and then so it's a certain way of doing that we will show tomorrow. You can come at 11 o'clock, and then we'll start and we'll show how to do the yajna kund, and then we have to put cow dung mixed with earth, and we apply it on the yajna kund, inside, outside, all around, and so that we will show tomorrow. And then, just like in deity worship, Upadan is there. We have to get all the articles which we need for the worship. So here also we have to, first we have to buy fruits, and then we have to buy sweets, and we have to buy ghee for the yajna, for the fire, and then we have havan samagri, auspicious herbs. Usually the priest will offer ghee in ISKCON, usually in our line mostly. And then those who are taking part, they will offer the havan samagri, the grains, usually rice and black sesame seeds and jaw, barley corn, and auspicious herbs known as havan samagri. So everything has to be bought, and then everything is brought to the place where the yajna is performed and put in an organized manner. After that, so when everything is set up, then the priest will do achman. Of course, sometimes, mostly we do achman before, but then those who are taking part in the yajna, they also have to do achman for purification. They will not do the puja, but they will just offer the ahuti, the grains into the fire. So achman has to be performed. The priest will chant, and then they will repeat. Even at that time, usually, those who are taking part, that is what we do also in ISKCON, they will chant this mantra Om Pavitra Pavitra Va after the priest. So the priest will usually receive pots. One main pot is there, and then 4 in the 4 corners, sometimes more also, depending on the ceremony and how one wants to do. Like usually in our temple, because we have Gonita, we have Krishna Balan Radheshama, in one pot I have 3 pots, and then we install Gonita, Krishna Balan Radhesham, although they're already there in the temple, but when we're doing the yajna, so we call them there to be present also, because it's too far to worship them, and then people are there, and so they're coming close, and they will, and sometimes, some places devotees have their deities there also. But so, and the priest will call the deities in the path, from the altar to the path, or from the transcendental board to the path, or from the heart to the path. And so everything is then made ready, and then also at that time when everyone is present, there's a sankalpa, declaration of the activity. And usually Prabhupada, he was just doing in English language. My dear devotee, we assembled here in Los Angeles on this auspicious day, and then we are doing the initiation ceremony. So he was explaining introduction to the ceremony. But traditionally, according to Vaishnava Vedic culture, there's a special way of doing this sankalpa, and for that purpose the priest will have and will tell also everyone who is taking part to have some akshat, that is rice mixed in turmeric, or turmeric mixed with the rice, and some water, and the flour is put in the hand. And then he will do the declaration of the activity in Sanskrit. So that is also mentioned here. Should be mentioned. Page 20, on page number 20. So the simple way is there, always is a simple way and a more elaborate. So there it is mentioned, for example, we elaborate Om Adya Brahmana Ditya Brahmana Svetavara Kalpe Vaivastakya Manvatare Ashtavinsiti Kali Yugyasya Pratana Samjangam. So that is the declaration, where are we, for example, and which season it is, which month it is, which tithi, which lunar day it is, and the stellar constellation is mentioned, which year we are in, and also it is also mentioned is about Lord Brahma's life. So that actually Adya Brahmana Ditya Praradya, we are in the second part of Lord Brahma's life. 50 of his years are gone, which is like millions of years. He's over 50, our Lord Brahma. So this is Ditya Praradha, in the second part of his, after 50, he's over 50, he lives 100 years also now, for his years. And then it is which Kalpa, as we know, the 4 yugas together, that is known as a Kalpa. It is Shetavara Kalpa. And the Manvatar, father of mankind, his name is Vaivasvat. And then it is in this, as is mentioned over this Sasa Yuga Paryantam, one day of Lord Brahma is 1,000 yugas together. So we are in the 28th Kali Yuga of one day of Lord Brahma. And in the first part of the Kali Yuga, Pratam Sandhyayam. And then also, so the place is mentioned, Vrindavan Dham, and in front of Sri Guru Gauranga, and then maybe Gauritai, Krishna, Radha Shyam Sundar. And then the Gotra is mentioned, that means in which land do you belong. Previously the different sages were there. Gautam Muni, so Gautam Gotra is there, Bharadvaja Gotra, so Vashishta Gotra. Anyone here from some other Gotra? Bharadvaja Gotra, so many Gotras are there. And the lineage of the great sages. But we belong to Krishna's family, Achyut Gotra. And then the name, the priest will say his name, and then he will say for whom he is doing the ceremony. For Krishna Das and maybe his wife and Rukmini Devi or whatever it is. And then after, so we're doing the ceremony for the pleasure of Guru Gauranga and Krishna, whatever it may be, the name giving ceremony for the child. And then they will, at the end, they will discard the water and the grains, the rice and on the floor. So that is known as Sankalpa. That is usually always done when the ceremony is performed. Yes, so this is still part of the introduction known as Kushandika. And even at that time, usually, the priest will explain about the ceremony, and usually, so the puja is also included in the preliminary activity. This preliminary activities, the puja is included there, which is very important, because without the mercy of Guru Gauranga and Krishna, we cannot be successful in our endeavors. So whenever there's a yajna, there's a puja performed in the beginning. It may be simple or elaborate, but that has to be done. That is always done. That is part of the ceremony, the first part. And then the actual ceremony may be performed. And as explained yesterday also, usually the chanting of the holy names is there many times. There's kirtan before, kirtan in the middle, and kirtan at the end, when the devotees are circumambulating the fire. What was the question? Yes.
So, like you mentioned about Gotra, so many
Gotra.
times,
Yes.
many times we are performing puja or we are part of any puja. So whenever some priest asks for Gotra, so we have to say Achyuta.
Yeah, we say when we are initiated by one of our spirit masters in our society, then you always say Achyuta Gotra. Even though before you may, from the family line, you are in Bharatvarsha Gotra, so whatever, Gotam, Rishi Gotra, whatever. So, but you don't say that. Once you're initiated in our sampradaya, then you say Achyut Gotra. Yes.
You gave a lecture also explaining about the purpose of life and everything.
Yes, yes.
Could that happen after this Sankalpa or before?
Well, you have to see time, place, and circumstances. It may be before. Because, for example, people are coming slowly but surely, and then you may start with a lecture. And you have to see. It may be done before, and it may be done also after the Sankalpa. But it is part of Kushandika. And you have to do Achman for purification, and then, so you have to say the Sankalpa, and you should speak something. It may be before or after. You have to see time, place, and circumstances. Yes.
Before the actual ceremony, we have to worship Guru Gauranga.
Yes, before any ceremony, you worship Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna. That is part of the Kushandika, the preliminary activity. You must worship Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna, because we are servants of Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna, and that is the main activity, is that we worship them, that we dedicated to them, and we need their blessings. So before any ceremony, you worship Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna in the simple, elaborate way.
So that is done before Sankalpa or after Sankalpa?
Usually, mostly before Sankalpa. Again, at the same time, we have to see time, place, and circumstances. Because let's say you do a wedding ceremony. And in India, 99% of the time, they're coming late. For example, the time is given 12 o'clock, and the priest is there. And sometimes in the winter it's challenging, because when you get older also, and it's cold, then you have to go more often to the bathroom, but you cannot. You cannot. Otherwise you take out all your clothes, and sometimes it's difficult to find a bathroom if you're somewhere. So let's say they're late, supposed to start at 12, and the priest is ready at 12 o'clock. And then, okay, you're just now coming. And then you wait and wait, and you may do the puja before also. Because, especially if it is in the evening sometimes. Okay, it's supposed to start 7. It is 7, 8 o'clock. And then you're still waiting, then you can do the puja at that time. And then, hopefully by the time you finish with the puja, then they may come. And then you do Sankalpa. But usually first is Sankalpa and then you do the puja. But if they're late, you may do before also, many times, because sometimes you have to wait 2-3 hours. Sometimes they're late, 2-3 hours, many times. Then it's difficult sometimes for the pujari. Okay? But preferably it is done before, when everyone is present. You do Sankalpa and then you do the puja. Yes.
So
What's that?
Priest can put
Priest.
Yes, yes. Their lamination, Guru Maharaj or Manasik Puja.
Yes. So the question is if the priest he can do Manasa Puja of Guru, or you can have the photo. Yes, you can have the photo also. Many times devotees, they make an altar and then have the picture of the spiritual master, the Guru Parampara, the six Goswamis. That can be done. Yeah. And they may have deities. That can be done. But if not, then you do everything mentally. Therefore, actually, the pujari, he should be, the priest should be a pujari. If he's used to do every day, then he calls actually in the path, he calls everyone. We can call everyone in the main path. You can worship, you can call Guru, Gauranga, Krishna, and you can worship them in the path. First you do Guru Puja, then you do Gauranga Puja, then Krishna. So you can do Manasa Puja also. Many times, mostly we do like this.
We can offer 16 upchars.
Yeah, you can just like in puja, you can offer 16 items. Yeah, asan, swagatam, padya, agya, achman, varuparka, punarachmanyam, then bathing, just by mantra or with the help of the achman cup. Yes? Yes, yeah, that is the location where we are. So it's, where was it? Page 21. So, yes, actually, yeah, that is the location where we are. Jambu Dvipe. So you see the 14 planetary systems are there. You know, Brahmaloka is the highest. Then Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and then like this, Bhuvaloka, and then we are in Bhumandal, Bhulok. We are on the earthly platform. And there are 7 islands are there on Bhumandal. So the center is Jambudvip. And then there's a mountain is there, Sumeru mountain is there in the center of Jambudvip. And then, so it is mentioned here, Jambudvipe Bharata Kande. Many Buddhas say Sumeru Dakshina. Sumeru, Dakshina means in the south of the Sumeru mountain. Bharata Kande. So Bharatvarsha is there. Now we know Bharatvarsha, India is there, but then we have, Bharatvarsha is very small now. Before Pakistan was included, before Bangladesh was included, before Afghanistan was included, before the whole world was known as Bharatvarsha. But this is actually still a small part because Bharatvarsha is very big. And we're just a small part of Bharatvarsha. It is an old subject matter, but it is a fact. So Bharat Kande, so Jambudvip is the center, and south of Jambudvip is Purush Varsha, and then is actually Bharat Varsha is there, or also known as Bharat Kande. Yeah, 2 are south, 2 are north, and 2 are west, and 2 are in the east. Jambudvip in the center is Ilavarita Varsha. Sumeru mountain is there in Ilavarita Varsha, and then 2 are south, 2 are north, 2 are west, and 2 are south. So we are in the south, in Jambudvip of the mountain Sumeru. The description is there in 5th canto, huge mountain. And we are south of that. So that is explained here. Many Buddhas is Sumeru Dakshina. So then in one Lamanasyottare Kone, so this is actually the salty water ocean is around. Salty water ocean is there. And we are just one part of Bharatvarsha actually. Of the bigger Bharatvarsha. And there's a big mountains are there, Himalaya. It's bigger than the one we know here, but there's much more. We are just a small part actually. And then afterwards, after the salt water ocean, there's another Dweep, Lakshadweep. And there is another ocean. 7 oceans are there. Sugarcane, water ocean, Now here this water from the ocean we cannot drink because it's salty, right? Bad luck for us. But if you go further, then there's a sugarcane juice ocean. You can drink as much sugarcane as you want. And then there's the one, milk ocean is there, ghee ocean is there, and there's even liquor ocean. Those who want to drink liquor, they go there. So, I mean, we are very insignificant. If you study the scriptures and the fifth canto, you will understand, wow. But materialistic people, they don't know anything. They know this, they think they know so much, but they have no clue actually what's about this universe, about this one small universe. And this is the smallest universe we are situated in. Our Lord Brahma only has 4 heads. All the universes are much bigger, therefore Brahma has 10 heads, one Brahma has 100 heads, one has 1,000 heads. We are the smallest universe. So no reason to be puffed up. And we are just one small part in this Bharat Varsha. But we are fortunate that we are connected to Prabhupada, to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Krishna. And Krishna is Swami Bhagavan and Mahaprabhu also. And we are so fortunate that we are in Braj Dham just now, in the most holy place in the whole universe. Always just on the earthly planet and the heavenly planets are there, Brahmaloka, but there's no Vrindavan Dham there. Only here in Bharatvarsha, Vrindavan Dham is there. But in each universe there's a Vrindavan Dham. So that is the Sankalpa. So that is the first part. So then afterwards comes the actual samskar, the actual ceremony as we have explained. It may be the marriage ceremony, it may be initiation ceremony, it may be name-giving ceremony for the child. So all of the ceremonies, they have the Kushandika first. And then the ceremony is there. And that may be done, of course, different mantras may be chanted, but the beginning is always the same. It may be simple or more elaborate, but the beginning Kushandika is the same. Small ceremony, you have a small yagya, bigger ceremony, you have a big one. Like tomorrow, maybe 50 devotees will be initiated, so we have a medium-sized yagya count. 1 week ago, we had a bigger yagya, Jayapataka Maharaj, when he's coming here. Almost 200 devotees were initiated, so we had a big yagya count. Because when so many devotees will offer the ahutis, so we have to see time, place, circumstances. But the beginning is the same. We worship Guru, Gauranga and Krishna. We chant some mantras for purification. And then the ceremony is performed. And then at the end, the concluding activity is known as Uditya Karya. Uditya Karya. So, that is, for example, let's say the initiation ceremony is there. So the priest has established everything. He has worshipped Guru, Gauranga and Krishna. Usually when there is initiation ceremony, the priest practically all the time he will do the puja before. And then the spiritual master is coming, the devotees are coming, they're sitting down. And then the spiritual master will speak something about initiation. Then he will give the name. And then afterwards, then the yaga is starting. So he has given some introduction. So Prabhupada was also doing in a simple way like this. But traditionally, so it may be a little more elaborate. And now that the initiation is there, so the main thing there in initiation is the spiritual master is accepting the disciple. And then he's asking him to follow the regulative principles and he's asking him to chant every day 16 rounds. And then he will give the japamala and he will give a spiritual name. That is the actual samskar, which is short and then afterwards actually concluding activities are done. That is Uditya Karya and Prabhupada was chanting the Mangala Charan for that purpose. And the priest will worship the fire god and then the Mangala Charan is chanted. And then for example even Prabhupada then usually was giving the Gayatri mantras after the ceremony, just for practical reason. But then traditionally it was a little more elaborate than the initiation ceremony, just like for the Upanayan Samskar, for giving the sacred thread to the children of the Brahmana family, Kshatriya family. Then it is more elaborate, that is also mentioned here. And then many mantras are chanted. So even traditionally, according to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, anyone who is initiated, then there's a little elaborate, more elaborate ceremony is done. But Prabhupada, according to time, place and circumstances, he kept it simple. So, and then according to Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Sakriya Saradipika, so for example, then in the concluding activities of Ditya Karya, so sometimes even mostly, like for example for marriage ceremonies, there's a yajna, like for the marriage ceremony, the mantra is different, yeah. For example, when you do marriage ceremony, that is, the yajna is in two parts actually. Even actually 3 sections are there. And the main thing is also that the parents of the girl will give the girl to the boy, Kanyadanam. And then some mantras are chanted. And then there's a yajna performed, that is Purusha Shukta Homa. Chanting of the Purusha Shukta prayers, which are well known amongst the followers of the Vedic tradition, even the Vaishnavas, even Mahaprabhu, when he first proclaimed or showed that he's actually the Supreme Lord, that it was in Shiva Sangam, one time he called Shiva Sangam. And he was sitting on the Vyasasan where the Shilas were there. And he told Shiva, Shiva, you call all the devotees, call all the devotees. I'm the Lord. And then he was surprised and almost fearful. And he called all the devotees came, and then Mahaprabhu said, chant the Purusha Shukta prayers. And all the devotees, they were actually, many of them are from Brahmana families, and then all the Brahmanas, they know the Purusha Shukta. They all folded the hands in front of Mahaprabhu and chanted, Sasrachesha Purushaha Sasraksha Sahasravacha Bhomim Vishwata Vritva Atyatishtantra Shangulam Purushavidam Sarvam Yat Bhutam Yat Chabhavyam, and so on, chanting the Purusha Shukta, recognizing Mahaprabhu as the Lord. So he revealed at that time that he's actually the Supreme Lord. And then he gave benediction to everyone. And everyone understood, yes, he's the Lord, he's situated in my heart, he understands what I have gone through. So the Purusha Shukta is chanted for the wedding ceremony. Also, when the entering of the house is there, Griha Pravesh, the Purusha Shukta prayers are chanted. And if there is, for example, the name-giving ceremony, at that time some mantras are chanted, and actually, of course, for the praise of the Lord, but recognizing the day, the tithi, according to lunar month, when the child appeared, and the stellar constellation which is there, so that is recited, and then mantras are offered. The mantras are offered, and ghee and samagri is offered to the Lord. Yes?
Tithi, Nakshatra and Yoga, Karana.
Yeah, yes. So for different samskars, so there may be different mantras chanted. As explained before, if it is a Mangal Homa, one may chant the Brahma Samhita, the 108 names of Mahaprabhu. So for information, we have mentioned the different samskars in the beginning. You can go through it later. I mean, to explain thoroughly all the samskars, it would take at least 10 days, but we don't have this much time. So I'm just doing brief, and then you can go through it also. And even you can take my number also, and if you have any question, you can ask me also privately later. And at the end, so it is in 2 parts. First, just some general description is there of the different ceremonies, and afterwards the mantras are given of the different ceremonies, but also just the most important ones. Because, as explained also yesterday, mostly devotees, they like to keep it simple. And Prabhupada also kept everything simple, because the main thing is to chant the holy names. But at the same time, the yagas have to be performed, we have to hear about Krishna, we have to worship the deities, we have to do these yagas. That is required. So, and then, so when you do the actual Samskaras, some Agni Dev is called, and even that we have also mentioned different names of Agni Dev according to the ceremony. And and then also, once this is done, and once the Samskar is done, so you did your karya, and then, so we make chant as Prabhupada did, the Mangala Charan. So the person we have worshipped in the beginning with flowers, like Guru Gauranga and Krishna, and then offering incense, ghee, lamp, and some bhoga. So we offer oblations into the fire, remembering Guru Gauranga and Krishna and all the associates also, by chanting the Mangala Charan. So Prabhupada was doing this way. In more elaborate way, many more personalities are respected. For example, the 4 Kumaras and Vishwakshena, and then the 10 Mahabhagavat, as mentioned in the Bhagavatam, they are also offered respect to. And then, the 9 of Yajnas, great saintly persons, and then Swayambhu, Manu, and then many of the Lord's associates are there, the 5 Pandavas, Bhishma Dev, Hanuman, and so on. And then Mahaprabhu and all his associates, and then Krishna, and of course the queens, the associates of Krishna in Dwarka, the queens especially, and then in Braj, the friends of Krishna, the Gopals, the cow, the Gopas, are offered oblations too, and then Radha Krishna, all the gopis, the Ashtasakis, and then the Manjaris also, Vrinda Devi and Yamuna Devi, Saraswati Devi, and Mother Cow, Mother Earth, to them we offer obeisances also, and oblations also. At the end also, to the Chaturvyu, Vasudev, Shankar, Pradumna, the 3 Purushavatar, Mahavishnu, Garudaksha Vishnu, Garvadaksha Vishnu, Shirodaksha Vishnu, also oblations are offered to the 10 Dasavatar, the 10 avatars, Kurma, Varaha, Matsya, and so on. So that is usually done traditionally, but Prabhupada kept it simple, which of course when a pure devotee, whatever he's doing is perfect and complete. But traditionally, according to Prabhupada, to Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada also he established a little more elaborate way of doing the ceremony. So that we have also mentioned here. So, because nowadays the devotees are learning more and more, and then they want to do it in a more elaborate way many times. So the traditional way which is there. Just like in the beginning, Prabhupada also, he was telling how to offer bhoga. And he was saying, you just put the plate, the bhoga plate on the table in front of the deities, and you chant the mantras for the spiritual master, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhakti Shamari Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Devi, and so on. Then Nama Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, and then Nama Brahmani Devaya Go Brahmani Hitaicha. And by chanting this, and then you meditate, the Krishna will eat. So that was done in the beginning, when they were just new to Krishna consciousness. But then Prabhupada also told the devotees they may go and see the Padati, the method of worship according to his spiritual master's institution, Gaudiya Math, and then the first book was according to Prabhupada Sannyas Guru Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. He had compiled a book known as Archana Padati, and according to that book, ISKCON had also made a book. And then later on it was revised, elaborated, but then many devotees felt it is too elaborate and complicated. Now they're trying to make a more simple one again. We are waiting since 12 years. So we're still waiting, no problem. But in the meantime, we just have a small abridged version, just for information on when we have a seminar, because the devotees, they like to have something in their hands. You can make notes also, but by taking notes, how much you can make notes and how much I explain. But so there's more explanation here and it is more elaborate, so then you can have something in your hands and have some quite clear understanding. So, and then in the concluding, if it is elaborate, then there's a prashchit home also for then begging the Lord also for forgiveness and offering oblations to the fire god in case one has done something wrong. But in simple way, one can also just chant mantra hinam, kriya hinam, bhakti hinam, janatana yapujita maideva paripurnam tadashtame, which we also use in deity worship. So those who worshipping the deities, after every seva, they have to chant the Aparadakshama mantra, begging the Lord for forgiveness, in case we have done some offense. You know mantra, Prabhuji? You know? Mantra hinam, kriya hinam? Yeah? Can you say? Yeah, good. The meaning? The meaning? Mantra hinam, kriya hinam?
All what I have done, whatever offenses I have done, please forgive that and accept me as
Basically, okay, yes. So whatever I've, my dear Lord Janardhan, please accept whatever I've done, even though there may be some offenses there. So the exact meaning is mantra hinam, my dear Lord, even I chanted some mantra but not properly. Or maybe I forgot some mantras also. Mantra hinam, kriya hinam. The activity also, the kriya was maybe not done properly. Or maybe I forgot also something again there. Bhakti hinam. And in the beginning we feel also, I don't have much devotion. Even actually the advanced devotee, even the pure devotee, he doesn't think I'm a great devotee. He thinks I'm very insignificant, I don't have much devotion for the Lord. But whatever it is, my Lord, please accept whatever I have tried to do. So that we have to do after the deity worship. Any service on the altar, the pujari will do. Same also when we do yajna at the end, we have to beg forgiveness from the Lord. And there's also, first we offer oblations, so in duty chakarya, and then there's a final offering known as Purnahuti. And that also Prabhupada, he had told his disciples to repeat after him, Nama Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmanitaya Chaitagiritaya Krishnaya Gurudaya Namo Namaha. And then, so devotees are offering, doing the final offering. Many times devotees were offering fruits, but the fruit is not burning so nicely. So if we have the grains, it is a little better. Sometimes they will offer a coconut also, or some sweets, which is like there's some sweets are there which have a lot of ghee, so that will burn nicely. Whereas if you put a banana, it will not burn much. And many times devotees, then they're speculating also, and they're saying, oh, if you put a banana, then all the pap which I've done before will be there. But it is not true. Now some devotees, they will say, sometimes devotees are just speculating. And they say, when you put the banana inside, all the sins I've done before, they're put inside the fire and there's now everything is finished. And then they say, oh, you cannot take the bananas because all the sins are in there. Because they're not burning. But it is not like that. But it is better actually if you put something inside which will burn nicely when you do the final offering. And then after that, it is not finished. Then we have to circumambulate. Just like after deity worship, we should circumambulate the temple. 1 time, 3 times, 4 times, 7 times. Different places, different rounds are mentioned. Usually 3 times is fine. But you have some love and devotion, 1 time is fine also. Yes?
So, this one actually
Yeah, in this corner has become a standard. Yeah, but
Usually not.
no. Even like, for example, Radha Govinda Maharaj, who is from a, traditional family in India, who is one of our spiritual master. In the beginning also the devotees, because they were used to, they were offering bananas, and every time we're saying, no, don't offer bananas. It is not burning, why offering something which is not burning in the fire? Offer something else. So therefore mostly, hardly you will see that they will offer bananas. Traditionally, in any sacrifice, they will not offer banana. They will offer something which is burning. Yes?
Can you give an example of something which is burning? What is the best thing we can offer?
Well, for example, you have the samagri, which is there. The rest of the samagri you can do the final offering. There is rice and barley corn and the herbs, so that is burning quite. And usually we make some ghee inside. But even, for example, sometimes, yes, some sweet you can offer, or
Sweet rice?
yes, sweet rice or halva. Sweet rice also it will burn okay, but halva is better if you want to offer something else. You offer halva. Sometimes you have a coconut. You open the coconut, they put the havan samagri inside, and then you will offer that for Purnahuti. Sometimes even some cloth as the final offering, because you're offering to the Lord or to the personality. So some cloth, and the cloth is burning nicely. Yes.
That's the main idea. You offer something nicely to the Lord, and
Right.
the side effect is that it burns nicely.
Right. Yeah, that's the idea. Mahaprabhu likes bananas, but other personalities are also there in the fire. We don't just see Mahaprabhu, but otherwise, if we worship the deities, so Mahaprabhu's favorite food is banana. So it's good to offer banana. Therefore, also when we do yajna, we always have bananas. Banana is auspicious, and Mahaprabhu is there, and he likes bananas. What is Krishna's favorite fruit? Anyone knows? Huh? Mango? No. Chiku. Right, chiku is their favorite fruit. And Radharani's? Plum. Yeah, plum. And Balaram? Jamun. Yeah. So whatever the Lord likes, we offer, and so the final offering should be something nice. So usually I always offer some sweet also at the end. Because mostly everyone likes sweet. Krishna likes sweet, Mahaprabhu likes sweet. Anyone like sweet here? Everyone likes sweet practically. Very few devotees, but some devotees they don't like so much sweet. Maybe they don't want to take white sugar, but you can take brown sugar also. Or you can have some item made with honey also. Yeah, so offering is for the last offering to offer some sweet, that is nice. But even in the beginning, when you worship the fire, you invoke the fire, and then you worship the fire in the beginning, when you start the fire. Then you offer panchaprachad, just like for the deities, chandan, flower, incense, ghee lamp, and some sweet. That is offered to the fire in the beginning also. Also you can offer some dry fruits and nuts. That is also burning nicely. And for the final offering also you can offer some dry fruits and nuts. Like the dried dates or, and then for example cashew nuts, almonds, they will burn fairly good.
And Panchameva.
Panchameva, yeah, 5 kinds.
Can we put camphor or cowslip?
Camphor, yeah, you can also put camphor, because actually camphor is burning very nicely. Yeah, when you see that the fire is not burning nicely, you can put some camphor inside. Sometimes the wood is not completely dry. Sometimes it is challenging, and you see and you have to be careful. And so the wood has to burn nicely, so it has to be dry. But sometimes it maybe not completely. Sometimes there's not enough wood or not enough ghee you're putting, and then it's not burning nicely. Then you can put some camphor. Or also if too many devotees are there and too many grains are there, then the fire will also not burn nicely. So you have to make sure they don't offer, that there are not too many devotees offering too much grain, so you tend them to offer a little bit. But if they offer a handful every time, then the fire will not burn so nicely. So different things are there, and by experience you will know. In the beginning it is quite some challenge, but if you experience, then you will understand and you adjust. So, and even in the beginning, when you, just like when you worship the deities, you purify everything. For example, the bell, and then you offer incense. First you purify your hand, and you purify the incense. So that we do when you do yagya also. And even the yagya kund, inside the yagya kund we make some design. Different designs maybe there. One is known as panchareka. You draw 5 lines, and you call representing Mother Earth, and then the cow, and then Jamuna Devi, Saraswati Devi, and Lakshmi Devi. Or you may make a yantra, a design like Ashtadal, 8-petal lotus flower. Or you can make Satcon, the 2 triangles together, a 6-pointed star. You may draw inside there, and in the middle, usually either Om or Klim is written. Because always the source of everything is Krishna ultimately. And so Om is representing Krishna also. Of course the Mayavadis Om is the Brahma Jyoti, but for the Gauri Vaishnavas, we remember Radha Krishna and the Jiva. On Kling also. So these are known beach, the seed from which the mantra is coming. Like any Vedic mantra in the Vedas, the 4 Vedas, always first Om is pronounced. Like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Narayanaya Namaha. And any mantra, first it starts with Om in the Vedic literatures. Even the Maha is mentioned there, that even when we do yagya, when we worship the deities, and we say the Maha Mantra, we always say first Om, and then we chant the Maha Mantra. Because it is also actually Vedic mantra, but of course it is the most important mantra which Mahaprabhu came. And when we receive the mantra, then at that time, and when we chant the mantra, we don't have to say Om. But when we do yagya, any mantra, first we say Om, and then we chant the Maha Mantra. And so we purify the yagya kund also, and even for example the ghee, we hold above the fire as an act of purification. So many small details are there. We don't have the time to explain all the details, but we just give us some idea. And then you may read the book, and if you have more questions, you may take my phone number, and then you can ask also. And as explained, when we, just like in the end of the deity worship, we circumambulate the deities. So at least once a day we should do that. Circumambulate the deities. So around the temple. Of course, if you are staying in a house somewhere or in a flat, then you may not do. Difficult sometimes, but usually the idea is that you have to respect the Lord, and by offering obeisances, by offering pranam, and by chanting mantras in glorification of the Lord. But one part is circumambulating the deity, and respecting the Lord in this way. So that is a form of worship also, or respecting a great personality by circumambulating him. So the fire also, at the end, we respect the fire, and usually the deities also, which are called in the pots. Then one will go around the fire, and usually all the devotees are chanting Hare Krishna. And then many times devotees are already trying to get the fruits, which are used to decorate the yagya, but actually it is not proper. That should only be at the end. First we have to respect the Lord and the fire, and this is still has been offered to the Lord when we decorate the yagya kund with fruits and flowers. That is for the pleasure of the Lord. And we can take the remnants after, but only when the ceremony is finished. Just like we worship the deities and we offer bhoga, and only when the Lord has finished, then we can get the Mahaprasad. Similarly also when you do the yagya. So we go around the fire 3-4 times or more also, chanting only names. And then After that, the priest will chant the Premadvani prayers for some senior devotee, Jaya Om Vishnu Paratma Samskaras Jaya, and so on, and anyone offers obeisances. So in the beginning, the priest, he has called the deities in the pot, and then he has also called Agni Dev to be present. He has worshipped the deities and Agni Dev. At the end of the ceremony, he will ask the deities to go back again to their abode, and the fire also, and there's a mantra also, and then after that everything is done. And then, after everyone has offered obeisances, then usually we'll take also some of the ashes from the fire, mix a little ghee, and then you will put tilak on the forehead of everyone as a form of blessing. And then when this is done, then the prasadam can be distributed. But usually we always have to tell the devotees, please, we will give you the Mahaprasad, you don't jump on the yagya then knock everything over. But many times it's a challenge, and sometimes devotees just saying, okay, fruits, Mahaprasad, sweets, and they're just grabbing everything. But we have to try to control the situation as much as we can. Sometimes we are not successful what to do, because the senses are strong. Even when we have a program and the temple for the deities, feast is offered to the deities, and then Mahaprasad, everyone is waiting, pujaris also. And many times then they cannot control and they take so much prasad. Not so easy to control mind and senses, but we have to try. And then after ceremony is over, so usually then, of course, the one who organized the program, he has to give dakshina to the priest, some remuneration. And it's mentioned, otherwise the ceremony is not complete and not full benefit. Or actually, if you don't remunerate the priest, then there will be practically not much benefit. And yeah, so that is there. But the priest also, he should be not demanding, I want this much money, or if he's getting a donation, sometimes you get a little less, sometimes more. But sometimes we have seen also priests becoming angry. You should give more, but that is not proper. We have seen, but that is unfortunate. So whatever is being offered, that should be accepted gladly. Sometimes less is given, sometimes more, but we depend on Krishna. So that is there. And then at the end, everyone will get prasad. Mahaprasadam ki? Jai! Yeah. So any question? Yes? Oh, first year, okay. You first, you can ask.
What about the pot which is installed on northwest?
The pot which is installed northwest, yes.
Which is called Varuna, I think.
Varuna, yes.
So how we should install it?
Yes.
And for what it is?
Yes. So in elaborate procedure, so he's asking the pot in the northwest, so what for is that, and the Varuna Dev is installed, and what is the purpose, and how to do. Yes, so in elaborate worship, you may call different personalities in the different pots. So in simple worship, for example, we call Guru, Gauranga, Krishna in the pot, and then in the four directions we have Vasudev, Shankar, Pradyumna, Niruddha. Or we may call the four Vedas also. That is also what Prabhupada had told. More elaborate than Varuna Dev is called in the pot. Varuna Dev is the Lord of the ocean, of the water. And so the pot is there, and inside the pot there is water. Always we have the pots around, is water. Fill almost to the top, not completely, you don't have to fill it up completely, usually 3/4. And that is considered very auspicious, the pot. So we call the deities, we worship the deities in the pot. And so we may, in elaborate worship, then you call Varun Dev in the pot. Even sometimes, for example, in the elaborate worship, there's more than just one, which is known as Mangal God. For auspiciousness, there's a pot there and the water is in there and on top of, inside actually we put something inside the pot. At least tulsi should be there, some flowers, and akshat rice, which is mixed with turmeric haldi, that is put in the pot. In elaborate worship, they will put some other items also, like the betel nuts, and different places they may have different items which they will put inside the pot. And then the leaves are put inside of an auspicious tree, as mentioned yesterday. Like for example, the most common is from the mango tree, the leaves. At least 5 leaves should be there in a branch, and that is put in a pot. Or another tree, ashok tree, the tall trees, which are also we have some here. The leaves of the ashok tree may be also put in there. And on that you put the coconut, and then you put a little chadar on the coconut, and then you can put the garland, and then you call the deity. So you may call Varun Dev, and that is for auspiciousness. And in a simple way, you can just do Ahavayami, you call the Lord to come, and then Stapayami, you please stay there. But then there's even more different mudras are there, which you may do, and even more elaborate. You chant some mantras from the Gopal mantra, touching different parts of the body. So that may be there in elaborate worship. But in simple worship, Avayami, Stapayami, Prabhu Kripaya Swaganam Kuru. Avayami, Avan, calling, you please come. And then Stapayami, you please stay. And then Prabhu Kripaya Swaganam Kuru. Like that. So then you can call Varun Dev, and then you may worship also, again with incense, with flower, incense, ghee lamp, and some bhoga. That is, in elaborate worship it may be done. Sometimes Sudarshan Chakra is also called for protection. So different, in elaborate worship so many personalities are called. Even in the Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sanatana Goswami, so it's very elaborate procedure is mentioned there, which we can hardly follow. An elaborate procedure when there's a yajna, so the different demigods are called and they are respected also and worshipped. And when we install the deities, then we may call different personalities also. It is more elaborate in big temple installation. But in the simple worship, you may not have to do. And usually Prabhupada he never did. He kept it very simple. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. But then some of these disciples from Brahmana families, they were doing more elaborate. Similarly now also, devotees are doing a little more elaborate. I was giving the example just like offering bhoga. Prabhupada is told in a very simple way. Just putting the plate and chanting the pranam mantra to Guru Gauranga Krishna. But now, usually the temple it is more elaborate. And so first you offer a sitting place for the Lord, asanan, then Prabhu Kibya Swagam Guru, ask him to be seated. Like that. And of course, washing the feet of the Lord, Padyam, and giving water to wash the hand and the mouth, Hasta Mukha Pakshalanam. And like we do Achman, you give Achman to the Lord, Achmaniyam. And then you put the bhoga, but then you purify the bhoga also, like prokshan. Sprinkling some water from the conchal or just from the hand, putting in the hand and then sprinkling. And then you may also purify with different mudras. And then also you may chant the Gayatri of the deity on top. I mean the beach mantra, like for Krishna, Klim Krishnaya Namaha, you count 10 times over the bhoga. You sprinkle eyes and then you offer by saying Idam Naivedyam. Idam Naivedyam Samarpayami, I'm offering this. Or then even, for example, noontime when you have grains and vegetables, you say in Sanskrit, Idam Anabhyanjana Panyadikam Sarvam. And then you offer. And then you may chant the Gayatri also. So that is more elaborate. And mostly it is done like this in the temples, in all the big temples in ISKCON. So because we have heard them from, or we have read the different processes of the worship, and that it is mentioned, but probably in the beginning, because they didn't know anything, the devotees. Just like if a child, a 5-6 years old child, you don't tell him you have to do Padya Achman for the Lord. You just say you put the Bhoga there, and you chant the mantra, you just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then Krishna will eat. So beginning they were all new, just small babies, 20-year-old babies, but it's little like babies, so he just told him very simple. And these are actually pranam mantras, not for offering this, to offer respect to Guru, Gauranga, Prabhupada, the mantras which Prabhupada gave. But then because he understood the situation and then Krishna accepted, because Prabhupada told Krishna, my dear Lord, these devotees are just new and they don't know anything. So please accept however they're offering or whatever they're doing. Please be merciful. And Krishna, okay. Because Prabhupada is asking. But then, once you grow up, the child is growing up, then he has to learn to do the things properly. So now we have grown up a little bit, hopefully. Now we should do the things a little more proper. Like that. So then you may do more elaborate, you may call Varuna Dev also, that is fine. But still mostly when we do yagya, we'll see tomorrow also, we'll show. And we will keep it simple. Because the initiating spirit master, the disciples of Prabhupada, and they learn it the simple way. If you do too elaborate, then they will say, what you're doing, that's not how Prabhupada was doing. One time when devotee was doing a yagya for one spirit master, and elaborate, saying so many mudras and doing so many things, and the Guru was saying, what are you doing? Prabhupada never lived like this, just keep it simple. So we keep it simple. But in other ceremonies, when you do marriage ceremony, especially in India, you must do more elaborate. Because in India they will know that the usually elaborate process is there. But we try to be balanced. Not too elaborate and not too simple. The golden middle way. Like don't eat too much and don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much and also don't sleep too little. Be balanced. So also for deity worship and yagas and samskaras, be balanced. So we should not be too fanatic and also we should not be too easygoing. We should have the middle way. But do everything with bhakti, try to do with love and devotion as much as possible. And the love and devotion will come by nicely performing sadhana bhakti. Yes, one more question.
I live in California and some of the deities there.
Yes.
San Diego.
In San Diego.
Yeah.
I was there one time.
Oh,
19, when was it? Maybe 86. Bhadri Narayan, what was his name? Dharma Setu?
yeah.
He's still there?
He's still there. Yeah.
Okay, he was there.
He does all the marriages. And
Yeah. Nice devotee,
Yeah,
yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
Guruji, my question is about the same, like when I'm doing it in the West, right? So you mentioned about balance. So basically,
Yes.
this book, how do I know like what is the right balance to do with the West?
Well, I mean, this book is a good balance. It is not too elaborate. Yeah. Because, I mean, I made this book because I know mostly, especially the West, you cannot do too elaborate. But even now in India, even devotees or people, they don't want too elaborate. I mean, like in India, they know we do marriage, they know you have to go 7 times around the fire. That they know. That's it. If you go 7 times around the fire, then it's good. You did it properly. So you have to be, so, I mean, I kept this in mind also, so I kept it simple. But, mantras are there, just essential mantras, but not too elaborate. Because, usually too elaborate and people will not be so interested to do that. They want to keep it simple, which is okay, and we're chanting Hare Krishna, and that is most important. And we worship the deities, we hear Bhagavatam, we associate with the saintly devotees, that is most important. But ceremonies have to be performed in different ceremonies, but should be not too elaborate, should be a golden middle way. But it is quite, I took the middle way, And then you can adjust according to time, place and circumstance. And then if you're practicing, if you're doing the ceremonies, then Krishna will guide you also. How to do according to time, place and circumstances. Just like he guided Prabhupada to do everything in a simple way. But he knew the essence, and that is most important, is the essence, and then he was empowered by Prabhupada, by Krishna Prabhupada, and he was successful. Although he was doing yaga simple, deity worship was high standard in terms of cleanliness and punctuality, and but in the beginning also simple, but Prabhupada understood everything very nicely, what is most important. The deities must look beautiful. And so that he established, and everything has to be clean. But then, and punctual, in the West you have to be punctual, you cannot be late, like here sometimes you go to the temple. When is Aarti? Yeah, 6:37. Okay, in India, no problem. You go to the train station, okay, Tufan Express is only 2 hours late. And after you wait, okay, 2 hours are gone. I'm sorry to inform you, but the train is now 3.5 hours late. So we have to wait 1.5 hour. One time I went to Mathura with the Tufan Express going to Kolkata. And the train was 10 hours late. I had to wait 10 hours. In the West you cannot do that, and usually they're on time. I was born in Switzerland, the train are always on time. Even 2 minutes late and people are looking at the watch, what's going on? And then they're complaining why the train is late. So Prabhupada, he understood time, place and circumstances, and he wanted everything to be punctual. And everything has to be clean. Therefore our temple is very famous here, so clean and punctual, and deities are looking beautiful. So people are impressed. And then always chanting of the holy names, that is most important. So Prabhupada, he knew exactly what is most important, and he established that, and then he was successful, he was empowered, and he attracted so many devotees. And still it is going on. We are just riding on the mercy by the power of Prabhupada. Just like if you have a reservoir of water, you put a little stone inside, okay, plop, the stone is going inside. But if you have a big stone, you throw it inside, then the little waves are there around. So Prabhupada had such an impact that so much Krishna consciousness has spread all over the world. And still, although Prabhupada left many years ago, but still, our society is running on Prabhupada's mercy. By Prabhupada's mercy, still things are going on. Okay? Anything else? Yes?
At least in my country, you cannot make an open fire inside.
You cannot make an open fire inside the house. Yes.
So is there a recommended alternative, for example, Griha Pravesha Yaga?
Yeah, for Griha Pravesha Yaga, yeah, in some places one is not allowed to have a fire inside the house. I mean, yeah. So what to do? Yeah, well, what you can do, I mean, because if you can, you're not allowed to do, and maybe you don't want to do in a hidden way, maybe you could, but maybe if somebody finds out that you are in trouble, so better not to do, but you can keep it simple, and then instead of offering a gift and the flower, what you can do, you can just chant all the mantras, you can offer some flower petals in a container, or even in the yaga cone. You can just offer flower petals and you may chant the different mantras, that is fine. And you may do it this way. But I think at least you're allowed to offer incense, right? And one ghee lamp, right? A small ghee lamp you can offer, right? Usually they don't say anything. But better one than five. Five maybe then it's too big fire. So, but yeah, I know in many places you cannot do the fire inside the house. So then you do everything with flower petals. What you do, no choice. But that will be accepted also. Krishna understands. And even it is mentioned also in the scriptures, for example, in deity worship and saying for the yagyas, if we don't have any item, like for example, if you do the Sodasapachar Puja, 16 articles you want to offer to the Lord, If you don't have Madhuparka, then you may just, the Madhuparka is a special drink made with honey, milk, some yogurt, a little ghee and sugar water. If you don't have it, then you can just offer water and you meditate and you're offering Madhuparka. Or you may just offer some flower petals and meditate, now I'm offering this. And like for example, when first you do Guru Puja, and at home, for example, to keep it simple, you can just say Esha Dupa because you don't want too much smoke again and too many ghee lamps. You may just say Esha Dupa and you just offer flower, Esha Deepa, you offer flowers, even you don't want to have so many boga plates. Then you just do Esha Idam Naivedyam, and in meditation you offer everything, and that is acceptable. So similarly you may do for, instead of a yagya, you can just offer flower petals, you may do. And that may be accepted also. Okay? Any more questions? No more questions? Yes, the Havan yes.
At the last of the sacrifice, whatever is left, he said that it belongs to Lord Shiva.
Then in the yagya?
Yeah, in the yajna. Is it
Like what, if you offer something?
if you offer something, the remnants which are there,
The remnants.
it belongs to Shiva.
Well, that is those who worship Shiva, they will say this way. But whatever is left, you can distribute as prasad. But those who worship Shiva, they will offer to Shiva. That's all.
In
And so they may say.
In Bhagavatam also mentioned Nabhag story.
Which story?
Nabhag.
Nabha.
Yeah, Nabhag, when Nabhag going to Yajna.
Who? Nabha Maharaj.
Yes. Ritik, they are offered to mantra, but mantra not clear. But
Mantra is not clear.
Yes. But Nabhag going there, Nabhag is a Gurukul student.
Yes.
He going to Yajnasthala and he clarify the all mantras and Ritik are all happy. Then Shiva is coming. Bhagavatam 6 canto have this topic.
And then?
And Shiva also.
So, yeah, and then
Shiva
what is the
said-
point?
Shiva said all is for my after Yajna. End of Yajna. Everything is for
It's for me.
me.
Okay.
Shiva told.
Yes.
And then Nabhag is going to his father home and he asked him, dear my father, if black man is coming and he told me everything is for me. So what can I do? And his father said he is a Shiva. There is a story.
Yes.
So you can say everything we can distribute.
Yeah, yes.
But,
Yes.
but there have in mention everything is for Shiva.
Yeah, yes. Well, we follow Prabhupada, we follow our acharyas. And for example, Rupa Goswami has mentioned, like in India they will say first you have to worship Ganesh. Any puja first you have to worship Ganesh. Ganesh puja. You have to worship Ganesh. But then our acharyas, Rupa Goswami has explained, that is a smarta vidhi, they may do, that is fine. But then he's explaining actually there is no need to worship the demigods. We worship Guru, Gauranga, Krishna, and that is sufficient. And there even so Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, so we respect them, or even Ganesh, we respect the great personalities, but it's not that you have to worship them, and it's not that you have to give the prasad, the yaga prasad to Shiva. That the Gopal Bhatta Goswami has explained. If you do Vaishnava Vidhi, you offer the Guru, Gauranga, Krishna, and then afterwards, the Lord's associate will take the remnants, and after you may distribute, no problem. When you do elaborate worship, then you may also have something for Lord Shiva. When we install the deities, then we also call Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. In elaborate worship, but in simple worship, Gopal Bhatta Goswami has explained that there is no need to offer to the demigods.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
so.
we can offer to Vishwakseva.
Vishwakshena, yes, yeah. You may offer to Vishwakshena, yes, is the commander-in-chief of Vishnu's army.
There will be mention also.
Yeah, that is a little more elaborate worship. We worship the 4 Kumaras and Vishwakshena. And then after that we worship the 9 Yogendras, Karabhajan Muni, Pipalayan Muni, and then we worship the 10 Dasamag Bhagavad. So included in that Lord Shiva is there also.
Yes.
When you do elaborate, then you worship Lord Shiva also. And then elaborate worship, then you will get prasad, no problem. So elaborate worship you may do, like in the Vaishnava Homa. Then also Lord Shiva is respected. But others also respected, Lord Brahma, Yamaraj. And they may also get the share. Everyone should get the share. And previously it is also mentioned the different demigods used to come, not only Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, and they all get their share. All of them, not only Lord Shiva. And Shiva is a Yatha Vaishnavam Shambhu, is the greatest of the Vaishnavas, and he's humble. Maybe one time he said, okay, it's all for me. But it's not that every time he's saying, okay, it's all for me. Brahma, you can get lost, you're not getting anything. Oh Indra, what do you want? It's all for me. It's not like that. No. He gets his share, and even so, when we do the yagya, elaborate way, then we also offer respect to Lord Shiva. And he will get his share, but it's not everything for Lord Shiva. Okay? But we give to the associates of the Lord. After Radha Krishna, we have to Radha Krishna, then the gopis will take, the manjaris will take. And maybe after Lord Shiva as Gopeshwar will also get something. You want to enter Rasa dance. You know that story?
Yes.
Lord Shiva? And then he was there, and then Purnamasi was there, and he was telling, I want to also see and the Ras Leela. Okay, he will give you gopi form. So the gopi form. And then Radha Krishna, they were there dancing, and then suddenly the gopis are feeling also that somebody is here who is maybe should not be around here. Then they look around and they saw this new gopi. Hey, who are you? What is your name? Where are you coming from? So Purnamasi gave him the form of a beautiful young gopi, but she didn't give the name. Who is the father and mother? Where are you staying? So then Lord Shiva Gopeshwar, what? Oh, what's your name? Where are you coming from? Who is your father and mother? He couldn't say anything, they were slapping. The gopis are slapping Gopeshwar. And then Krishna came. No, he's actually Lord Shiva who wanted to see the Rasa Leela, so he took that form. Please, don't slap him anymore. And then he was allowed to just watch. But he was not entering the Rasa Leela, he was not dancing with Krishna and with the gopis. But he was allowed to be there, and then he was blessed also. By Krishna and the gopis blessed Gopeshwar. And we need his mercy. And therefore we pray to Gopeshwar also. Srimad Gopeshwaram Vande Shankara Karunamayam Sara Klesha Haram Devam Vrindaranya Rati Pradam. We have for him respect, and is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord, Sadashiv. And then all difficulties he can remove, and he can give rati, he can give love towards Vrindavan. So we respect him as Kshetrapal, but it's not that every time you do a yagya that you have to give to Lord Shiva everything. That he will come, if you don't give him, he becomes angry. No. But you may offer something in meditation, like for example, I do puja because, I have some Rudraksha some people gave me, and I just offer pranam. So, but first I worship Radha Krishna, then I give to the gopis, I give to Giriraj Maharaj, to Vrinda Devi, and at the end I also tell Gopeshwar, okay, you can have a little bit also. At the end only. First the gopis, then Giriraj. At the end Gopeshwar will get a little bit Mahaprasad. And then he's happy. If he gets a morsel, he's happy. So that is how it is. So we are following the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. But others, they should give to Lord Shiva whatever he wants. If they're not worshipping Krishna. But any Vaishnava, they will give first to the associates of the Lord. Even those who are worshipping Sitaram, so they will give that also to Lakshman. He wants also some share. Or Hanuman, he also wants something. And then Shiva can have something also, no problem. Okay? So, anyhow, we don't have much time. Actually, so many. And Kartik, usually I wanted to give a longer seminar, but so many other actually programs are here which I have to attend. Like there's a closing of the VIHC, I'm supposed to go there also for a little while. And then there's the Shobha Yatra of some Krishna Balaram Diti, I'm supposed to go there also somehow for a little while. What to do? And tomorrow we will meet in the temple, those who want to see. And we can do the Yajna together. Anyone will come tomorrow?
What time?
11 o'clock in the courtyard of Krishna Balaram Mandir. And then we'll make the Yajna together. You can apply the countdown. So the Prabhujis will help me and the Matajis and the ladies can just watch and see how it is being done. And the Prabhujis will have to work. And then we decorate also everything. And then actually then Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, so he will give initiation, so you can, if you like, you can then stay. Also then see. So, but yeah, we do it as Prabhupada did in a simple way. So we prepare everything, we will worship Guru Gauranga Krishna, and then Maharaj will come. And then afterwards the initiates will be there, and then we'll show them how to do Achman, and that most of you must have seen. But just the preparation, so you may see how it is done, how to make a Yajna Kund. And of course, in home, many times you cannot do a big Yajna Kund, you have to make a small one. Or you can have a Yajna Kund, can be also made, like many devotees have a small Yajna Kund which they can carry, made of copper, or sometimes also bimetal or different metals. Or you can just do a simple way, just with bricks also, but very simple, just have 8 bricks, so there's a square. And you can do it double, and you can cover with cow dung and just put some sand on top. In a simple way it can be done in this way also. So you have to use our intelligence and do accordingly, according to time, place and circumstances. So, anyhow, you can go through the Samskaras and then you may also ask questions. Any more questions? Yes.
I don't have this copy.
You don't have this copy? Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can have it, you just have to give 100 rupees. It is 100 rupees. Okay? It's a cost. So because, we're making, just we have to do some little correction maybe there.
Can I pay by phone to it?
Pay by phone? He wants to pay by, Sajan, he wants to pay by phone.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go to him. So, anything else? Yes.
Generally at home yajna,
In home yaga, yes.
what do you perform like? What is it? How do you perform?
At home, a yaga, how to perform?
Yeah, like what are the steps? Like how much time does it take? And
No, the same. We do the same steps as I explained.
But
You have to
generally
do also puja of Guru Gauranga Krishna.
after that, homa.
Then you do the ceremony, whatever it is, Vaishnav Homa, or, they need Mangal Homa for auspiciousness. And then you do the Uditya Karya, concluding activity. So you may do puja to Guru Gauranga Krishna, then you may chant the Brahma Samhita. While you chant the Brahma Samhita, you offer ghee. Or if all the family members are there, they can offer the samagri. And then you do the concluding activities. So that is Vaishnav Homa. The Mangala Charan, or is explained here in more elaborate way. That you can do. Yeah. So then you can have a small Yajna Kund, have a few bricks, And then you can do it simple. You can just have one pot at home. Just one pot you may have also. And call everyone in the pot. Or if you have deities, then you just offer to the deities everything. Sometimes if I have to go somewhere for Griha Pravesh, because I have deities at home also, and then I don't have the time to do puja at home and then go to another place to do a Griha Pravesh, then I take my shilas and then I worship them also with 16 articles. And if they don't have deities at home, then they appreciate that also. Oh, the shilas came to my house. Nice. And then they see and then they're happy and impressed, and you can feel the power of the shilas.
Sometimes.
Shaligram, yes.
But for is it required for a grahastha to have shalagram shilas at home?
If it is required for grihastha, no, I mean if you are a busy person and you have so many duties to do, you have to work and you have to chant your rounds and you have to study, take care of the family, then it's not that you must have shaligram, then you may have just the pictures. Yeah. But usually previously, Prabhupada has explained also, it is a fact, that previously the Brahmanas, they were having shaligram and every day they were worshipping shaligram Shila. Even in South India, many are there are doing, even in Northern India actually. So many of the Brahmana families, they have their Shilas and they do everyday puja. Even amongst our devotees now, many householders have shaligram. Any householder here who has shaligram? Who has shaligram at home? Here's shaligram, here's shaligram, here's shaligram, here's shaligram. I have shaligram. You also have? Okay. See, devotees have shaligram and they worship. And then there's the reciprocation. And it's very helpful actually worshipping the deities, worshipping shaligram or Govardhan Shila. Anyone is Govardhan Shila? And see, is also Govardhan Shila. Very merciful, Giriraj. And then there's a reciprocation and it's very helpful. And then you can go and you can, if you go somewhere, you can bring them with you and then you can do the puja. And people will be so much appreciating also. And you will get benefit also if you see the Shila and the Shila is performed. If you have Griha Pravesh and you don't have deities, you bring your deities, then you will be happy and then will be very much auspicious. You have the Shilas there. And then the Prabhav, then the effect will be there. The influence of the Shaligram, and then the house is really blessed. So if you just go there, of course you can call the deities in a pot, and if you're highly advanced, then Krishna will be manifest in the pot also. But if you're not highly manifest, highly advanced, then Krishna is not so much manifest, less. But the Shaligram is always fully manifest. So this, if you have Shaligram, it's good if you can take care. But you have to see time, place, circumstances. Yes?
In this book, there is no specific mantras given for Mangal Homa, only written that 1000 names of Krishna and Brahma Samhita we can take.
Yes.
That's only.
Yeah, yes, yeah. But then you can have according to what you want to do. And that you can, like for example, Brahma Samhita, that is available in many of the books. I mean, there's a small book of, so because we cannot include everything, because otherwise the book will be, 1,000 pages, but we keep it short. And that was the problem also even with the deity worship book, the last one. It was very elaborate. And those who are brahmanically inclined, they were appreciating. But the common devotees were saying, well, I don't understand it. It's too much for me. And they just put it aside. No, it's not for me. But deity worship is very important, and doing the ceremonies, yagas is important. But if you keep it simple, then even those who may not be so brahmanically inclined, but they understand the necessity, then you say, okay, that's nice, it's not too difficult, I can do it also. But then you have to see. So if you do Mangal Homa, you may, and that is available, the 100 names of Krishna, or the 1,000 names, you can Google, you can get all these mantras, the Brahma Samhita, Vishnu Sahasranam, Vishnu Sahasranam. But if you have Braj Bhav, then mostly you do chant mantras in connection to Krishna. Yes.
Can you translate in Hindi also?
If I can translate in Hindi, yes, definitely, because many devotees are asking, so we will translate in Hindi. And in ISKCON, actually, we don't have any book, Samskar book in Hindi, we don't have. So we just have to make basically it is complete, just maybe one more time editing we have to do. Some little mistakes may be there. So but basically it is complete, but then we have to just do some little editing, and then we will print it also in book form and a larger quantity. So these were just the first 30 copies we made, so we can give for the seminar. But later on we will have a small book, and then we will translate in Hindi also, because many devotees are asking and we don't have anything in Hindi in our society. Usually they're using some from Gaudiya Math, there's one book, but that is very elaborate and is very difficult to understand. Even for any devotee, that book is very complicated. So therefore we will translate this in Hindi, and so it will be available for all the devotees, Hindi-speaking devotees. Yes.
Maybe some devotees for good health they do nursing.
For good health.
Nursing Homa Yajna, so that
Yes.
is not included in this.
No. No. Yeah, you may, of course. Yeah. For good health, you may do ceremony, and you may worship Nishingadev for protection. Nishinga Homa is there. Yes, but the mantras are not there now. Because same thing again, we cannot mention everything, and otherwise the book will be too big. I will keep it simple. And but it is available, the mantras from Nishingadev, then you use intelligence, you follow the process of Kushandika, you worship Guru Gauranga Krishna, but then when you do Nishinga Yoga, you have to worship Nishingadev also. You call Nishingadev in a pot, and then you worship with incense, with flower, incense, ghee lamp and bhoga, and then you worship the fire, and then you chant the Nishinga Kavacha prayers, or you will chant the 108 names of Nishingadev for the pleasure of Nishingadev. So we have to use our intelligence, and if you need some guidance, then I can help also.
I think process is the same also.
Process is the same. If you know the basic, then you will be able to do. Because the process is the same. And even, for example, for health, even for the 9 planets, like in India, sometimes they do puja, Navagraha puja. If the astrological chart is showing there's some deficiency there, some problem there in the horoscope, and then they will say you should do Navagraha puja. But as Vaishnavas, usually we do not do. But instead of the Navagraha, we worship the Dasavatar. Except Kalki, we don't have to worship, we may offer pranam to him. But the others, they are actually the lord of the different planets. Like for Mangal, for Mangal in the Mars planet. For that, actually Nishingadev is the lord of Mangal, of the Mars planet. Then, if there's difficult Mangal doshis there in the chart, then you do puja for Nishingadev. If some other weakness is there, then you may do for Varahadev. If Saturn is there, or in general way you can do for all 9 of them, and then you may understand that, and therefore, then you may be helped and protected also. And even in Gita Govinda, the famous book by Jayadev Goswami, has mentioned the Dasavata Stotra in the introduction, Mangalacharan, so that we may be purified, and then we may approach Radha and Krishna and understand the wonderful loving exchange. So if you practice and you're under proper guidance, then you will slowly but surely you can learn, and then you can do it also. Anything else? What is the time now? 1:11. Okay, I have to stop here. So there's a little Mahaprasad for everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki. So one more thing, so those who want to come, you can come tomorrow 11 o'clock and you can see the practical. And then, even for example, when you have a ceremony like marriage, as explained, there may be some ceremonies before. One of them is known as Adivas Puja. The day before is a ceremony for auspiciousness. In the evening, that is many times done for a marriage ceremony. Even when you worship the deities, when you install the deities, the day before there is Adivas Puja. So, actually, the day before Purnima, we'll have a ceremony here, Adivas Puja. If somebody is interested, that is on the 7th November. You can come also and you can see how we do Adivas Puja, if you're still here on the 7th of November. And then the 8th, we'll have Abhishek of the deities, Radhika Keshav Roy, and if you want, you can also see and take part. Okay? And
7th
tomorrow,
November, Sandhya time?
Sandhya time, around 6 o'clock. Yes, it's Adivas Puja we will do here. And and tomorrow you can come for the yagya. You can see how to do the yagya code and how to establish everything. Srila Prabhupada ki. So we have some Mahaprasad.